Since 1954, Terrebonne General has been a beacon of health and hope in our community. As we mark 7 decades of dedication to your well-being, Terrebonne General Health System remains committed to advancing healthcare, improving lives, and expanding our services to meet your evolving needs. In celebrating our past, we look forward to a future filled with promise and progress. Your health is our legacy. To discover more, visit tghealthsystem.com.
All right, welcome back as we're going to get some news from Troop C. And once again, we have the PIO and Trooper First Class Tia Larvadane is with us today. And good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, but news continues, obviously. We keep seeing news, but a couple of stories out of Gibson
yes,
that
sir.
we're going to talk about. And then we'll talk about North Carolina. But how about if we start off with that October 17th incident?
Okay. So on October 17th, shortly after 7 p.m., Troop C began investigating a single vehicle fatal crash. It happened in the 6100 block of North Bayou Black Drive. A Nissan Frontier was westbound on North Bayou Black Drive. The Nissan crossed the center line, exited the roadway to the left, struck a utility pole, and entered the bayou where it became fully submerged. The driver of that vehicle was the fatal, a 63-year-old Gibson man. He was unrestrained at the time of the crash.
Yeah, whenever we see those types of, it just gives me chills to see those types of accidents. And we'll talk more about safety in a little bit, but then we also move on to another incident in Gibson, right?
Yes, sir. On the 29th of September, shortly after midnight, Troop C began investigating a 2-vehicle fatal crash. That one was on 182 near Oak Forest Drive. The preliminary investigation of that one revealed that a Jeep Patriot was east on Highway 182 and a Ford Focus was west on 182. For reasons still under investigation, the Jeep crossed the center line. The driver of the Ford tried evasive steering, but was ultimately struck on the front passenger side. After the crash, the driver of the Jeep fled the scene in a separate vehicle that showed up. The juvenile driver of the Ford was unrestrained, sustained moderate injuries, and was transported to a hospital. The front passenger of that Ford is the fatal in this one, which was a 39-year-old Gibson woman. And like I said, the driver of that one did flee the scene, and that sparked a LSP CID investigation in which multiple other state agencies, local agencies, and federal agencies joined in. They were able to identify the driver of that Jeep as 33-year-old Elmer Gallius Canazelis. He was accompanied by 3 other subjects that were arrested on the 16th. Those 3 were arrested for accessory to vehicular homicide. The driver of the Jeep, the Elmer subject, is still wanted, along with another subject, Elvin. Both of them are believed to be in either Dallas or Houston, Texas, so we are still searching for them. Elmer has active warrants out right now for vehicular homicide, vehicular negligent injuring, felony hit and run resulting in death, and the Elvin subject has accessory to vehicular homicide warrants out right now.
It's a little disheartening when you see a tragic wreck like this, which, like you said, claimed the life of a 39-year-old Amanda Corto, that you have so many people that fled the scene and no one owns up to it.
Right.
So it's disheartening because I'm sure the family wants closure, but it also makes y'all work a lot harder, doesn't it?
Right. And those 3 subjects, along with the one that's still wanted, so 4 subjects, they either knowingly, either physically helped him flee or lied to law enforcement when they were trying to conduct this investigation on trying to figure out who the driver was. So that's how they got their accessory to vehicular homicide charge.
If somebody knows or maybe watching and has any information, who can they contact?
They can contact Troop C. They can contact the Bayou Region's Crime Stoppers. They have a 1-800 number, 1-800-743-7433, or crimestoppersbr.org. They can use the Bayou Tips app and also our State Police Fusion Center. If they go online at lasafe.org, there's a suspicious activity link in which they can use to report anonymously any tips on the whereabouts of these two subjects.
Okay, now tell me about, y'all are involved, and tell me what's going on in North Carolina deployment. And I'm sure our audience would like to know what's happening there.
Right. So when Hurricane Helene hit, which was, I believe, towards the end of September in North Carolina, they activated an EMAC, the Emergency Management System. And what they do is they send out a request for whatever they need to multiple states, and they send out a request for additional law enforcement to respond to North Carolina. And our mobile field force team, State Police's mobile field force team, we responded. It's a 110-man team. So we were able to send 20 troopers along with a 40-foot bunk trailer and a wash trailer. We went out to North Carolina and was tasked with different missions. We were at water distribution sites, food distribution sites, shelters. We did foot patrols, assisted in search and rescue missions. Also put our drone up because there were a lot of roads out there that were washed, couldn't get to. So we were able to utilize our drones, put those up to be able to get to areas that you couldn't walk to or couldn't reach by foot.
Right. I guess that would be shocking to see what actually took place in those areas. We lived it in Katrina in New Orleans, but they're living it now. So any way people can help?
There was you just don't see that in the mountains. You don't think that that's going to happen in the mountains. While we were out there, a lot of people did assist to help, and they can still do so. I would encourage them to contact their EOC and see which resources are needed, especially through FEMA, because FEMA was taking all the resources and distributing them to whoever needed them in that way.
Well, that's very kind of y'all, and I guess it's the human thing to do, but y'all stepped up and did it, and we appreciate that. And we also appreciate you coming real quick. How's that PIO job working out for you?
Hey, like you said, news is always coming.
Always coming, huh?
Yes.
Keeps you busy.
Yes, sir.
But you got Ross in the audience. He's always been good too. A good trainer. Somebody good to look at, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Tia.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.